Welcome to the Fit Femme Project Alignment Podcast. It is here that we cultivate and gather all who have been through it in fitness, relationships, careers, lifestyle changes, and unforgettable crucial life pivots trying to achieve their most sovereign selves. We're here to provide you with thought-provoking, detailed stories and information from truly fascinating men and women from all walks of life, professions, generations, and modern-day sagas who speak to their rawest, darkest moments that made them the strong, decisive, humble, helpful, healing people that they are today. We ask them to hold nothing back because life is a multi-dimensional pursuit to be stronger, healthier, and more aligned mentally, emotionally, and physically. Let's go. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. As always, I love and appreciate your support. And if you can't tell, we are doing this week's episode a little bit differently. I was able to sit down with a very special guest. And if you listened to last week's mini-sode, then you probably already know. But I was able to talk with my mom, actually, and I batted my little baby blues at her and asked her if she would sit down and chat with me for a little while about her entire story, as much as she was obviously willing to share. And she's a shy person, so I was very elated that she agreed to do so. And her story is just one that needs to be shared. I've always felt this way, and I really wanted to get it, either recorded or written down because people need to hear it. She overcame 30 plus years of undiagnosed anxiety disorder, depression, and then on top of that, some other health ailments that she went through and how she went about that and learned from that, and then, all the doctors that she had to deal with. So it was just something that I feel everybody needs to hear. I hope that as you listen to this, that it's something that you can learn from or find inspiring. And if you know somebody that could benefit from listening to this episode, then by all means, please share, because my mother's story is very inspiring, and I just, can't believe it because she was an incredible mother through the process, an incredible wife as well, and just a great woman of God along all that too. And so her story is one that needs to be out there. So please enjoy. Let me know what you think in the Facebook group or on Instagram, but enjoy. Okay. Okay. Water drinks.
Let's see.
Every time I start recording, my bladder all of a sudden is like, hey, now! Behind. Okay, so no. I just wanted to talk, obviously, about,
Are we on air?
We're on air, Mom. You just get closer to me. We're on air. We're live. Yeah, okay. The beginning.
The beginning.
You're gonna have to talk louder. No, okay, so how would you describe, your experience with your, I don't know, I don't want to say health over the past, 40 years? 50?
Well, I think I explained this to you before. I started with, when I started my period,
How old were you?
well, I was not in third grade.
That sounds like what happened to me.
I know. I started really early, but by the time I was 16, 15, 16, I would kind of get episodal depression that weren't depression, but I would just kind of
Periods of
look at other people and go, why are they so happy? Why am I not that happy? Or, just kind of
melancholiness, or was it
no, it was I just didn't feel like I was as
alive,
happy, and I would just, but then it was usually around my period.
Okay.
So then that just kind
I
of...
didn't know. I know you said that the other day, but like I didn't know that at all.
I know, you don't know everything about me, KateLynn.
I feel like I should.
Anyway.
Well, that's why I wanted to
Right.
talk and get it on tape.
Okay. So then after I got married, my marriage was kind of rough. You know, sometimes you get married and it's not quite what you expected. And had 4 children in 3 years, so my body was pretty depleted. And anyway.
There was nothing major that happened before you had us, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
So were you still experiencing those
A
episodes?
little bit here and there.
Okay.
But it was after I had Tyler.
Okay.
You know, yeah, my first.
How old were
first
you
baby.
when you had Tyler?
25?
25. Okay.
Something like that. Right in there.
Yeah.
And he was born in 87. I had Austin in 89 and the twins in
90.
yeah.
Me.
Yeah. You. Yeah.
You can ask. I'm right here.
So, yeah, after Austin turned 1, you guys were born 2 weeks later. Something like that.
Jeez.
3 weeks later.
Yeah.
But anyway, in all that and not having any help, you know, from my husband at the time or any family, I pushed myself. I know I did because I wanted to do everything and make sure you guys were taken care of and enjoy and you know, help still serve my husband and but I experienced I could tell something was changing, and it was
like chemically or hormonally, like in your
not
brain?
chemically. Now I would know that,
Oh.
but at that time I didn't have a clue.
Right.
But I just realized that everything was stressing me out. Like you guys playing was starting to stress. You know, the noise or
like being overstimulated.
yeah,
Okay.
and I do remember that. And then about a week later, I was doing dishes at
We're
the
all
sink.
born at this time.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you were 3.
Oh,
It was
okay.
1993.
Okay.
You were 3, and or actually you were 2. We were going into
Into the 3s.
yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Anyway, and something just snapped in my brain. I could feel something like
Just
jolt.
Uh-huh.
And that was the beginning of it. It was I from that point I had to stop doing dishes. My heart was racing. I felt like somebody injected me with like speed or epinephrine,
Adrenaline or
yes,
something?
yes.
Oh.
And I pretty much fell on the floor and rolled up in a ball, and I couldn't. And just all that. It was a panic attack, but I had no idea,
Right.
and nobody else did either. You know, so. I stopped sleeping for a very long time.
From that moment?
Yeah, that's when a lot of my sleeping issues started.
Oh man. So when you stopped sleeping, like you would only sleep like 1 or 2 hours a night, or literally not sleep?
Some nights no sleep at all.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I went for about a week with absolutely no sleep.
From that moment, like that
yeah.
following week?
Because what I did after I had that panic attack, I felt like I needed to get rid of this
energy
that was just like I don't even know how to describe it, but
I
for people who
get it,
have had panic attacks, they understand
They
that.
get it.
Yeah. But my body didn't come down from the panic attack.
Oh boy.
Well, usually when you have a panic attack, you'll experience it, and then your body will kind of return to normal. But mine did not return to normal. So I ran around the block. I don't know how many times. No, I ran around the block, and I felt so good. I mean, it was like my brain was clear, but I was just full of even more energy.
Oh, it like triggered even more of it.
Yeah. So then after that, I didn't sleep. But it was after about 2 weeks of this not sleeping. I couldn't take care of you guys anymore. And I called your dad at that point and said, you have to come and take me to the doctor. I can't do anything. I can't do anything. So he did, and it was like she did want me to go see a psychiatrist, which.
Did you go to your just like general doctor, or
Yes.
you just went to the ER?
No,
Oh,
I went
just
to
your
my general doctor because she said I could come right in.
Okay.
Yeah, at that day and age, you could
In the 90s?
get a same day appointment. Yeah, and even with psychiatrists and stuff like that, it didn't seem like it was hard to get in. But she did have me go see a therapist, and it just didn't. It wasn't from anything in my past. It wasn't from any.
She's thinking it's like trauma or something.
Yeah, and it was something went wrong in my brain.
Right.
It was medical. It wasn't emotional, and because I didn't have anything that I was.
You can't define it.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. And because I told her stuff in my past, but it wasn't no trauma whatsoever. But anyway, from there, I saw a psychiatrist, and the first question he asked me was, what about your sex life? And I'm like, this is not about anything. I mean, and I was just so frustrated. He was asking me all these questions that had nothing to do with what I experienced, and did have me try a couple things, but
Medications?
yeah,
Oh.
and they were making my face distort, like do weird things, and
Do you remember what those medications were?
one was budesonide. I can't remember. I
Or
really
what they
can't
were
remember.
meant for?
I was under the depression at that time, but now I know I was not really experiencing depression, and I know they can go hand in hand, but I was experiencing anxiety, panic disorder. Now I know that,
Right.
but nobody really had a coined phrase for panic disorder at that time.
Yeah.
And anyway, from that moment, I know my mom did come, Granny came,
Yeah.
and stayed with me for 2 months. And at that time, she told me her mom had experienced very similar symptoms and ended up passing away in what we would call a mental institution now.
Really?
Back in the 40s. You didn't know that?
No.
Well, yeah.
So they put
My grandma, they put her in it was called the Regional Center, and she passed away in there. And this is my theory. Back then, they would give people shock treatments.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, if you're having anxiety,
Yeah.
you get a shock treatment on top of that. Anyway, I think she ended up having like a heart attack or something like that.
How long was she in there for? Do you know?
I really don't know, but she died there. And once they took her there, Granny never saw her again.
Oh, that's
I
so
know,
sad.
it is very sad.
Wow. I've heard of that, but
Yeah.
like,
My mom didn't experience, she said she experienced a little bit, the depression thing, but they just gave her Valium at the
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And
How's
my
it?
sister, I won't say her name, also, not to the degree I had it, but, later in life, she told me that, she was also on medication. So it was more generational.
DNA stuff. So
yeah.
that kind of started putting the pieces together for you.
Yeah, I wasn't just
You're crazy.
my circumstances, and they could have added to it because my
Right.
body was totally probably depleted, and I was stressed in the sense that
raising 4 kids.
right, and kind of by myself in a way. I mean, I didn't have to work, but just the stress of the money, issue, relationship issue, and
Yeah.
having 4 children, and but it was my dream, and I loved it. So I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't change anything. But through all this, I have to mention this. But through all this,
Yeah.
the Lord was so faithful. He really was, and just. Because when I couldn't sleep, I would stay up and I would just find all the scriptures I could on joy, on peace, on healing, and I would just write them down and just, I don't know, meditate on them, and it got me through that. I know some Christians said, "Wow, you have so many health problems for a Christian," and I was like,
What?
No, they did."
That's
and I would say,
ridiculous.
"No, I probably was going to experience this whether I'm a Christian or
Yeah.
not." And I am so thankful that I have Jesus in my life to help me through the hard times. We're all going to have hard times.
Yeah.
It's just life. It's the world.
Somebody said that to you.
Well, people say all kinds of things, whether
Christians
they're
are
Christians or
perfect.
non-Christians. No, I mean, some people just don't have any filters to
That's right.
realize it's not appropriate. But instead, what?
How was Dad through all of that?
He wasn't around.
Yeah. Because he worked a lot.
I hate to say this, but he did say he did not want me to tell anybody about it, which made it even more stressful. Like it was something that was shameful. It was something that was secret. And so getting back to the medication part of it, what ended up happening for the next 16 years was she gave me a heavy dose of sleeping pills, which was Dalmane at the time, which was almost very borderline dangerous type of sleeping pill.
So not a narcotic, but could almost be?
Yeah,
Or, okay.
yeah, it could be. It was very addictive. It was benzodiazepine family, and then she also gave me Xanax, which everybody knows about Xanax.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I took a lot of it to get to sleep, and at times I thought maybe I took too much, but sometimes it didn't work.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Your own body wouldn't, take it.
Yeah. Anyway, but it got me through
16 years?
16 years.
Oh my gosh, Mom.
Yeah, and I didn't ever go see anybody, didn't do anything like that. I was just, I just handled what that could do for me at that time. So,
You just kind of accepted your fate, basically.
well, yeah, and I mean, I had so many other things going on. I did have, and I don't want to get too deep into this, but just recently, about a year ago or so, I did a gene testing.
Did you tell me about this?
What?
Did you tell me this?
I think I did.
Okay.
I think I did. And it was because I was reading and listening to a podcast by Dr. Ben Lynch on, it's called MTF.
Oh, the mutations.
Yeah, mutation. It's a methylation mutation. So MTHFR, gene mutation. A lot of people have it, but what it means is your body cannot methylate vitamin B.
Produce it or
Absorb it.
Absorb it.
And because our foods are so highly enriched with fake chemical vitamins, most of the time your body, like that sourdough bread, probably has enriched flour in it.
Yeah. I'll throw it away right now.
But anything that's enriched
Yeah.
usually means you have folic acid, you have all these other vitamins that could be lab made,
Okay.
not food based.
Yeah.
So as having that gene, you can have up to 4 mutations within that one gene. And there's so many genes.
Right.
His book,
I think I have it.
yeah, I
Yeah.
told you to get it. It's very good. But he goes through all the major genes
Yeah.
and gives you guidance as to symptoms of having mutations within those genes and then what to do about it.
Okay.
So that kind of gave me some guidance also. But I did end up having one mutation in that particular, the MTHFR gene. So I stopped eating enriched flours, stopped eating anything that had folic acid in it, and started taking methylated B12, methylated folate.
A year ago.
Yeah, a couple
recently.
years ago, right. Anyway, so going back, I think that had a lot to do, having that gene mutation had a lot to do with a lot of the health issues that I did have.
Okay. During that 16 years.
Just during my lifetime.
Your life.
Basically, yeah. Because you're born with it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't just evolve. You're born with it. So, yeah. I mean, within that time, my body still was under a lot of stress because I wasn't treating the problem.
Right.
Yeah, I wasn't treating the problem. I wasn't changing my diet. I wasn't,
Managing your external stresses.
I wasn't on the right medication either for it because, yeah, I mean, I guess in a way my body, I was just numbing everything down so low that my nervous system and my neurotransmitters, were kind of non-active. I don't know. I'm guessing.
How was it, during that 16-year period, being a mom?
Well,
because when I tell people a little bit of your story, I just say I had no idea. My mother kept it together, if you will, and we had a great childhood. We had fun. My mom was happy and healthy, and you hit it so well. So raising us, what was going on inside of you at that time? You know what I mean?
I just wanted to be a mom.
Yeah.
That was and when you have a dream of doing something, some people want to be a great singer or whatever. You push yourself to do that because that is, it was my calling. It was my mission field. I don't know how to say it. It was what I dreamt of doing ever since I was a kid. I wanted to be a mommy. And I wanted 3 boys and a girl, and the Lord gave me 3 boys and a girl.
Wait,
it was.
I don't know if I knew that.
Yeah. So
I keep saying I'm going to have twin boys, so maybe that'll happen.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I was the strength of the Lord in me, just trying to cast my care on Him. Because He says He'll help me carry the burdens that I have to carry in this life. And it wasn't easy.
Oh, yeah.
But the only thing I regret when I look back is that I was struggling so much with my health. Because I think there's things I thought, I could do that better or whatever.
Right.
But, so then you remember the next one that I had, the next episode. 2006. I had a hysterectomy. Because of fibroids in my very large fibroids in my
So they
uterus.
weren't tumors, or they were just not cancerous.
Fibroids are a type of tumor, but they're just a fibrous tumor. They're not.
How did you discover that?
Laying on my bed, and you could see them.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you look almost pregnant or something?
No, but they were lumpy, and I could see them from my abdomen, and I would push on them and it got to the point where, because we never had insurance, that was very stressful. I could never go to the doctor.
So my dad's mentality: get over it.
Yeah.
Great health advice, pops.
Yeah. So it was hard. I would feel them, and they were very hard. And then it started impeding my urinating. It was pressing on my urethra or whatever that. Yeah. And then I thought, oh gosh, I don't want to have do damage.
Oh.
And so I went, and they said, we probably. I don't know if they asked to take my ovaries or not. I really don't remember, but they ended up taking my ovaries.
They just took it all.
Yeah, so that put me into menopause, right away.
And that was just the icing on the cake,
That
right?
was just the beginning, yeah. So the medication that I was using stopped working.
Sleep medication? Which medication?
The sleep medication, the Xanax, none of it worked anymore.
Okay.
After I had the operation, I was laying in bed, and after recovery and everything, and after all the drugs had gotten out of me, whatever they give you, pain medication, and I noticed my heart was thumping, and I told them, I said, my heart's just thumping really hard. They said, oh, that, maybe you're low in iron or this or that or the other, and they tested me, and they said, oh, no, you're not low in iron, so they didn't really
that was it.
care. Yeah.
Wow.
And I went home, and it was a couple days later that once again I had that same experience of
being
panic
attack.
Yeah, panic. And it was the nonstop panic, and so I went to it was so hard to get in to see a psychiatrist. Because your PCP automatically says can't handle this. You need to see a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
So I was so frustrated that I couldn't see anybody. I just took somebody that I could get a same day appointment.
You just needed somebody right then and there. Yeah. I mean, what? Anybody would have done that.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're desperate. I'm calling friends, asking, or I only had one friend at that time. That was the other thing. I didn't have a support group, because sometimes when your marriage is struggling, you kind of isolate yourself.
Yeah.
Because you don't really know what's going on here. So how can I don't want anybody to know.
Plus, you're still listening to what Dad told you. Like, don't really talk about this.
Yeah, and for
this doesn't look good for
the
us.
family that he had, that was a sign of weakness.
Right.
To have all these health struggles, and and I did feel a lot of shame from having so many health struggles from
the Bundy
that
side of the family.
You don't have to say their name.
Well, Mom, we're talking about my family. People are going to put it together. It's fine.
Well, and not everybody. It was select people within the family, and just,
Get over it.
Get over it.
Like,
You can handle it.
Yeah.
It's wrong with you. Why can't you do that? And so anyway, that was something
I know Grandma was particularly hard on you.
Yeah.
You didn't want to. It's okay.
Yeah.
She's in heaven now.
I know, and
She was a very
loving person now.
She was a very intense woman, and German, and we grew up in the Midwest, so the mentality was work.
Yeah,
They
were all farm families. Yeah.
And she grew up in the Great Depression, so you just you don't face your problems, you get through it. Just get over it.
She had an alcoholic father.
Yeah.
She was the oldest daughter, so she basically, the mom worked, her mom Edith worked, so she raised the kids.
Yeah.
And I think she did not like that. And she was very bitter about having to do that, but yeah.
Grandma was a little scary, so
yeah,
I get it.
I know. So, and I'm kind of this quiet, timid person, and I felt overwhelmed by the family sometimes, let alone my husband. But anyway, so in 2006, once again, I was at the same point, but this time the psychiatrist I went to told me I just had to go cold turkey off of the sleeping pills and the Xanax, that I couldn't have them, and I needed to just kind of detox, or not detox, but
Right.
And that was probably the stupidest thing
Really?
you would ever do for anybody. After I'm talking now, after I saw her later, I saw another doctor, and he said you could cause someone to have a heart attack, heart failure, because these drugs are so intense.
Yeah.
It's just like meth, just like cocaine. You don't just stop.
Right. Even though they weren't doing anything for you at that time, it was still very. It was
my
still
body
doing something.
was still was used to having it.
Okay.
So
she told you to go cold turkey, and
cold
you did.
turkey, and I did.
Oh my goodness.
So that was just. I mean, I don't want to say hell, but it was pretty darn close.
Yeah. Well, what was going on? What was happening?
Once again, no sleeping. No sleeping, heart racing, pacing at night while everybody else is sleeping. I didn't feel like I could breathe. I was hearing music that wasn't there. It was music, and it was worship music, so that's good.
Wait, so you went cold turkey. Did she put you on anything else, or you just medication?
Not at
Nothing.
first.
Okay.
No.
And, so you're hallucinating, basically.
Well, I didn't hallucinate with my eyes, but I would just go, I know that Darlene Check is not singing in this room. I don't think anybody else has music on in the house, And so that freaked me out, And I can't remember some of the other things, but it was very...
I remember, this may have been later on, but, I was in high school. And I do, side note, regret not being a better daughter back then. I mean, I was a kid, but
I know.
You're going through such a difficult time. Because I would walk into your room and you'd just be staring at the wall.
Yeah. Well, and I
was that
laying in bed.
Well, yeah, laid in bed.
Or on the couch. That couch.
Being just a zombie.
Yeah. And so that was okay. So when I went off all that medication, it was not too far away, but when I went off the medication, once again, I couldn't watch TV. I couldn't really talk to anybody. I couldn't eat, just basically what somebody would be going through in rehab if you went cold turkey, you know. So I went back to her, and, you know, she was almost mad at me for not being able to get through it. And it's like, once again, it's like, I'm sorry, but, you know, so she goes, well, I think you're bipolar.
Oh.
This is when the bipolar thing started. And I'm like, what's bipolar? You know,
You had never heard of that?
No. And she described it to me, you know, extreme mood changes. And I said, that is not me.
It's
That's
the opposite.
not me. Yeah, I mean, I don't yell and scream and then, you know, or have these
Manic episodes.
Yeah, I've never had them, ever. Anyway, but she was just positive. So she put me on one of them. And that's when I still wasn't sleeping, but I started feeling like
The
a zombie.
Okay.
Yeah. It was, anyway.
What?
I just took myself off of it. I mean, I don't know how many weeks I was on it. I can't remember. It started with an L. But my glands started swelling. And anyway, so once again, she was upset with me. And I said, I'm not sleeping. I'm going to die if I don't get some sleep. I mean, this is, you know, I remember sleeping for like 5 minutes. And then I'd be like,
my gosh.
I think, how long was that? And I look, like 5 minutes.
That would make anybody, obviously, go mad.
Right.
Absolutely mad.
Yeah, I mean, you can only go without sleep for so long. So,
That was...
anyway, she gave me a medication called trazodone, and she had me taking up to 10, 15 pills, and I was getting all confused. How many did I take? And, you know.
That was a sleeping medication.
It was supposed to help with anxiety and sleep.
Okay.
And it didn't do anything. I know.
It did it, so it made you, like, confused and,
Yeah.
like, what
It
just
was
happened.
So, anyway, I was sitting in the rocking chair. You know, I think I'd lost like 25 pounds. I don't know. I was very thin, in the 120s, you know, so I was very thin. And, you know, still couldn't have communication or anything. I mean, I just couldn't. I could get in a hot tub and have a panic attack. I'd try to do the laundry, and I'd have a panic attack. You know, it was just constant. And so I was sitting in my rocking chair, looking out the window as I did every day.
Like you're in your nursing home, like.
And it's funny now, but at the time, I just said, Lord Jesus, I need you. I need your help. What is your plan here? What do you want me to do? And I had an inclination to open the phone book, because we still had phone books.
This was 2006 still.
Yeah. And I looked up, because I had called so many clinics, mental health clinics, and appointments 3 months out, 6 months out. And they said, and I called CHI, mental health.
Right.
We're not in Nebraska. Nobody knows what that is.
Well, I mean, people aren't just listening
it's a hospital.
Yeah, it's a hospital system.
Yeah. And so anyway, they said, we have a new clinic opening right down the street from you, and you can get an appointment this Thursday. And I was
thinking, God.
Oh, my Lord. I was, so thankful. And I walked into Dr. Cadre's office and had a major panic attack.
Like even good timing, right?
Yeah, yeah. And so I think he gave me Xanax or something. I said, just take one, go to the restroom, just calm yourself, come back. And Dad did go with me because I couldn't drive.
Okay.
I couldn't drive anywhere by myself. And then he said, has anybody given you a diagnosis? I'm like, no. I said, the only thing I know is that they tried bipolar medication. I went, cold turkey. And so he was almost angry at this other psychiatrist. He wanted to know her name. Her name was Kay Schilling.
I wonder if she still has her medical
I don't
license.
think so. I don't know. And he wanted to know her name and her, the name of her practice. He said, I'm going to turn her in. Yeah.
Report her to
for how he treated what I had. So anyway, within 5 minutes, he gave me a diagnosis of like panic disorder.
God.
And I know.
It's relieving, but like really, like all this time,
all this suffering.
Yeah.
And he put me on a Klonopin, which is in the benzodiazepine family. He just told me I'd been on a benzodiazepine so long that I just needed a small dose just to, I don't know. He explained it. Well, yeah, just not. My body was pretty dependent on it, and if I wanted to continue to go through more withdrawals, I probably could have. But I think I tried for a while, and I wasn't. It still something wasn't right. I was doing better. I could talk, but the sleeping aspect still wasn't quite there. And he said, let's just do a small amount of Klonopin. And so I got on what now is called Remeron, and they kept me on the trazodone that she had me taking, a very small dose.
To taper you off of it? Or?
No, I stayed on trazodone. He said trazodone and mirtazapine together, or Remeron together, are going to work better than either one of them by themselves.
Oh.
And then with a little bit of the Klonopin, I mean, within 2 or 3 weeks, I remember going to the store with you and driving and being able to engage. And then remember Grandma died and her funeral, and I was able to go, and that was 2 to 3 weeks out from 3 months of hell, So I that was great. So fast forward to 2020, COVID hit and my medication stopped working. Yeah. So once again,
you were zonked out a lot.
The same thing happened. Panic started when I had COVID. My medication wasn't working, and they experimented on me once again with bipolar medication.
Really? I don't remember. Did you?
Her name was Ann Hoffer.
You don't want to say my own family's name, but you call out these bad doctors.
I do. I argued with her. I said, I am not bipolar. Just take it.
Did you?
And no. Okay. What? She prescribed it. This is funny. She prescribed it, and it's called Seroquel or something like that. And David's over there on the couch, and I'm arguing with her on the phone.
My mother has since been remarried.
Yeah. So. Yes, I have, and he's amazing. Yeah. He's an amazing husband.
We love Dave.
Yes, we love Dave. And he's getting mad at me because I was arguing. He goes, Sally, just take the damn medication. I'm like, okay, call it in. $120. And I told David, you go pick it up and you read that instruction thing front to back.
Right.
And he's a detailed guy, so he read everything.
The side effects?
Yeah, everything. Yeah, what it's for, what it has in it, side effects. And he looked up after, an hour of reading these pamphlets. And he said, there's no way in hell you're taking this medication. And I said, thank you.
Yeah.
He needed to read that, I mean, and what can happen if you're taking it and it's not, the side effects of it were horrible, just like I experienced already. So I got rid of Ann Hoffer and was able to get in right away with a doctor. Oh, they also experimented on me with Zoloft, which
what does that do?
Caused more panic for me.
What was it meant for? What is Zoloft?
To treat the panic.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's backwards.
It is. And she kept telling me, and this was my PCP, she kept telling me, just keep, it takes a while for Zoloft to work. And 3 months in, I'm like,
how long are we talking?
I am having vibrations at night in my body. I'm not sleeping. I'm having more panic. I'm the same thing. It was not helping me, and it was making it worse. But you try to do what they're telling you to do. And so finally, I turned myself in.
Sally, I'm an alcoholic.
I went to Clarkson Psychiatry Emergency Department.
Okay.
I told David I'd gone 2 weeks straight without sleeping at all.
Oh my gosh.
And because sometimes I would get a little bit of sleep at night, but my brain would be doing these jumping around,
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to what we call the med center, psychiatric med center, and everything is locked down. I had to take all my clothes off, put on these jumpsuits like you're in prison, give them all my stuff, rings, everything.
Mom, did you tell me this?
I don't know. I guess not.
My mother turned herself into a psych ward.
I did. I told David, drive me down there. I'm checking myself in, and if I want to stay somewhere, but it wasn't the place where you could stay. It was just an emergency department.
Okay.
So I was hearing all these other people screaming and yelling. And I'm just sitting there. I had doped myself up on enough Klonopin to where my body could. If I would have taken a boatload of Klonopin, I would have been fine, but it's not healthy. And I would never do that to myself.
Yeah.
But I did it for that one day so that I could make it through. And then they put you in this really nice room, quiet.
So it's not a padded
calming.
cell?
Oh, no. It was kind of like almost a spa area in the basement, but it was still police escort, and just, Mom. I know, it was weird. It's kind of weird. I'm like, oh, gosh.
I want to give you up.
So I had like 3 doctors come in and talk to me.
Yeah.
And I explained absolutely everything.
At the same time they were there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because their theory is one person isn't going to know what to do. So they have 2 to 3 doctors come in and discuss a case and then figure out the best treatment for that person. And they said, anybody in your family have this? And I said, yeah, my sister. And they said, what medication is she on? Nobody ever asked me this. And I said, well, Lexapro. And they said, we're going to do that because usually you follow your DNA, and your DNA is very similar, so what helps her is probably going to help you. So they took me off of Zoloft because all the horrible things in there. Once again, we're like, how long have you been on this? Like, why did they keep you on this for such a long time? I mean, doctors. And so I went home and slowly let it build up in my system, and thank you, Jesus. It worked.
Yeah.
And
so that was that was triggered because you got COVID, and then
and a lot of people,
and that took like a year.
Yeah, it was a lot. Well, then I ended up getting melanoma. 2 times, and that was yeah.
So I know you don't want to talk ill of Dad, my father, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Because yes, this was the series of events that happened, but in the 2006 era episode, what was it like back then with Dad?
He wasn't around.
Yeah.
He wasn't around. I mean, I remember one night he did come in and check on me because I had overdosed on trazodone. Yeah. And that next morning you came in and gave me a back rub.
Okay, so you overdosed on the sleeping medication?
It wasn't a sleeping medication.
Sorry,
the trazodone.
it's so hard to keep track.
I know. Trazodone is supposed to be an anti-anxiety medication that is supposed to help you sleep.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that you had, because you were so desperate to sleep. Mm-hmm. And so you overdosed like probably anybody would.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even remember how many pills I took. She said I could take up to 10.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot.
It was. I know.
Mean, it is.
Yeah, but they were only 50 milligrams per thing. Yeah. So some people can take up to 200 to 300 milligrams of this drug. I don't, and I was like, but anyway, the effect is the next morning, even though I didn't really sleep, my body I couldn't move.
Well, I think I remember you telling me that, after you had overdosed, you kind of were scared because you felt like this was it.
Kind of,
right?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know if my heart was going to stop because I noticed that I couldn't really move my body.
Oh.
I couldn't move my arms and stuff. It was and I had called Granny to come over because I couldn't hardly move off the couch after I took it, and I made it to the bed, and then anyway, the next morning.
Well, hold on, you're skipping.
Oh, sorry.
Because Dad had walked in. Didn't you start a countdown? I remember you telling me if Timothy doesn't come in here in 30 seconds,
Oh no, I prayed.
Oh.
No, I said, Lord, I need someone to come in and just check on me, like, and like, I needed something to eat.
Oh, okay.
I could tell that I was shaking because I hadn't eaten anything, and I was just getting, my blood sugar was low or something like that, and I felt like I was going to pass out.
Oh, okay.
And it was like 3:00 in the morning, and Timothy just got home.
Yeah.
Anyway, and came in, and I asked to get him to get me one of those shakes, Alive. What are those shakes called? Anyway.
I know the
protein
meal
shake.
replacement ones.
Yeah.
Slim Fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's all I was eating
Yeah.
at that time. I was just drinking stuff like that. And so then I felt, some relief. But after you gave me the massage the next day, I remember sleeping really good.
I remember that
night.
very clearly because I was 16 and I was like, what am I going to do with my life? And I was contemplating about doing massage therapy. And I remember, because I remember a couple times just like laying in bed and watching old movies with you and keeping my mommy company. But I do remember just giving you a little foot rub, and you were like laying there, like propped up, like, oh, I can feel that in my arms. Oh, I can, and I was like, oh, and like I just remember that, like that imprinted on me. I was like, I want to do this for everybody. Like it was like my sign from God that this is what you were gonna do for at least the next 12 years.
Right. Hey.
But I do remember that, and I felt so happy and proud. It's like I helped my mom, and like she benefited from it, and all that. Like I do remember that.
It was a kind of like a turning point in a sense, just because I did get one night of good sleep.
Your brain was like,
I had a little bit of hope.
Yeah.
But I think it was shortly after that is when I ended up getting rid of that psychiatrist and moving on to
and
Dr.
this was
Cadre.
like, I do kind of want to bring this up. This was around the time when Dad started his affair, right?
Yeah.
And it was just like good timing because like you don't have the energy to be like, why are you getting home at 3 a.m.? Like,
No.
Did you had no?
Not then.
idea.
I couldn't even think of that until it was probably 2008, 2009 that, anyway, I don't know if you want me to go into all that. Oh, okay. Well, it's not really public information, but I just noticed that, he was always gone at night, getting up early in the morning and leaving at like 5:30, and he didn't have to be to work till 8. And, asking him about it, I'd call Nebraska Furniture Mart and he wouldn't be there. I'd drive around to bars and see if his truck was there, and maybe I'd walk in and see him with somebody, but, he would, he had a bunch of excuses, just like anybody who's having an affair. They, just make up stuff, and I'm probably a pretty trusting person.
You are.
And I want to think the best of people because that's what Scripture asks us to do. But yet I had a feeling that he probably was, because he had had an affair earlier in our marriage, and he treated us differently.
Me and you?
No, treated the family differently.
Okay.
He would be very easily irritated.
Yeah, Dad did have a temper.
Kids,
and,
or why are you doing that? And he was a kind of harsh person anyway.
Yeah.
But it was exaggerated.
And you're wondering, this is a little out of character.
Yeah, I didn't want to be around the family, and he loved his kids.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that started happening again, and I did ask him point blank. I said, "Are you having an affair?" And he said, "No." Oh, I changed the subject. Whatever.
Yeah.
So.
You're like, okay.
So then it was 2011. I think it was 2011.
Yeah, he kept it going for quite some time.
Yeah, it was 2011.
Because I had just gotten married.
Yeah.
And like fresh newbie wife.
That's right, 2010.
And I remember when it all went down because I just moved away.
Right.
When it all happened.
Yeah, I got a call from one of my sons, your brother, and told me what was going on. And anyway, so I knew he wouldn't
admit to it.
Yeah, no, he did admit to it, because I waited sat in a chair all day for about 6-7 hours, just praying, thinking, okay, Lord, what do you, how do you want me to handle this? So when he came home, he could tell something was wrong, And so I just said, hey, I got a call, you're having an affair. And he was like so relieved.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
It just was like, oh man, I've been wanting to tell you.
For the past 6-7 years? Yeah,
right.
Something like that.
And
that's
anyway,
wild, because
that whole conversation was very strange.
Why?
It was just
I think I remember, because it was like he was trying to say like I'm a loyal person still, like
no,
like really contradictory.
No, it was more like I don't know if I should say all this. Just made it seem so light, and like he had just gone to the grocery store and I've been having this affair, and so anyway, not to get into too many details. I was the one who left the house, because I knew he wouldn't do that. But that was that was a lot, because you were gone. Tyler was married. Ryan was still living in the house, or we had lost the house by then, and we had moved to an apartment. So, which was a blessing, because we had gone through all of our stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had gone through everything, gotten rid of, and so we had to compact our lives into moving into an apartment, because we could no longer afford the house that we raised you guys in, the second part of your life, or half of your teenage life. But so that was good, and I was very thankful. My mom was in a assisted living place, and I moved in with her. This little 500 square foot thing with 80-year-old, 90-year-olds. So,
and at this time, like all that going down, health wise, like you were really, really stable. And clear.
Yes.
Thank God.
Yeah. Yes, I was, and I'm very thankful that I didn't have any issues with that between these kind of like extreme traumatic events, that happened, and then in between, there are health struggles, but they weren't related to the panic disorder. The other thing that the doctor did tell me, the very last doctor that I have been with lately, he was explaining to me what panic disorder is and how it operates, and just that your neurotransmitters, there's supposed to be a connection, like an electrical connection between these neurotransmitters. But what happens when people have panic, or maybe some other type of mental illnesses, I don't know, is they fire incorrectly. Okay. They're like misfire. And that's how I would be getting the, like, they call them brain vapes. They call them brain vapes. That's what they're called. I would feel like I'd almost like I passed out for just that long. And then it'd be like...
Really? Oh, that's wild.
It is weird. Yeah. And they were major brain vapes, to where...
That's such a crazy term.
I know. I mean, I didn't even know they were a thing, but...
I didn't until now.
I had David look it up. I said, what is going on with my brain? This is 2020, that it was very noticeable. I know it was happening before, during my other episodes, but... and he goes, yeah. So I always thought, I'm crazy. I'm a crazy person. I have mental disease. I have a mental illness. But it's a medical thing that there's... things that are misfiring in your brain, or your brain chemicals are not, where they should be to keep your brain from doing strange things. Yeah. So, I always like to be informed on what's going on in my body, so that I can make wise choices, in food and exercise.
And I think it was also... dealing with doctors, because you can't get away from that, unfortunately. No. But it really, unfortunately, really helped your discernment with what doctors are saying versus what was going on in you, and like knowing your body and trusting that.
Right. And in the beginning, I was very insecure, and you were kind of made to think the doctors knew everything, and they don't. Yeah. Just one, I don't know how long you want this to go, but just one more thing with my gut. After I had immunotherapy, 2022, due to a melanoma, messed up my gut. And so I went to Nebraska Medicine and saw a nutritionist and
I know, it's so loud out there.
saw a GI doctor.
Okay.
And all they wanted to do was give me Citracel and put me on a pill. And I kept asking, well,
This is I do remember you telling me this. I was like, this is a nutritionist. Was it not a registered dietitian, but a nutrition? Oh,
no,
same
yeah.
thing. Okay.
I mean, yeah, they work with the doctor. I mean, the doctor will refer you to them, a registered dietitian nutritionist. Yes, she has a degree.
Okay.
She's,
So this person is telling you
Metamucil, and I'm like, okay, or Citracel, and I'm like, can we look at the ingredients, on that, and as food coloring, maltodextrin, and just all this stuff. And I said, I'm not taking that,
Yeah.
And then the pill that they wanted me to take cost $500 a month. And
it just blows my mind that like a registered dietitian is like trying to like prescribe essentially something that isn't just like a food.
Or I wanted her to help me with my diet.
Yeah.
Because I was having colitis, which you know what colitis is?
Kinda.
It's basically extreme diarrhea, like all the time. Everything you eat is just coming out of you. Your body has a problem.
It kind of sounds like what I went through when I got salmonella poisoning.
Yeah.
Or food
this
poisoning.
was like...
Yeah. Mine lasted a couple weeks, like several weeks. Like 6.
Mine lasted from March till about September, October, November. So a long time. But, and it was due to the immunotherapy. So after I got done with the colitis, my body swung into IBS-C, which is constipation.
So the opposite.
Yeah.
What the hell?
So it's, help me with this, and anyway, and I can't say all GI doctors are like that, but just the two that I encountered were not very helpful as far as, I felt like I knew more than they did. Mm-hmm. And that was very frustrating.
Well, plus you know your body better than them.
I do,
yeah.
So I kind of ditched that and just kind of went on this journey of going to see my PCP, who is very holistic, very nutrition oriented, wants to use natural remedies rather than big pharma. And I'm already on medication, which I don't want to be on.
Yeah.
I'm on the
more the merrier.
Lexapro. I'm on the, I take like 3 medications that I have to take, and I don't really want to have to take any more,
Right. That's
so,
ideal.
Yeah. But anyway, through just kind of trial and error. And
what were you trying?
I was trying a lot of herbal, say laxatives or whatever. And first of all, when I had colitis, the FODMAP diet is what ended up helping me.
What is that?
I don't know how to describe it. It's a sugar that is in food. It's called a fructan. Mm-hmm. Something, and your body can't digest that, and it can give you more diarrhea. And somebody on this podcast probably is going to say she's not saying this correctly. I don't know.
That's okay,
because I'm not.
Was that bowl of like sugar that I was accidentally eating when I was there visiting?
Erythritol?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because I was putting something in my coffee, and I'm like, why do I feel so weird?
No.
That was something else.
I don't know what that was.
Sorry. Okay, keep going.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
what is this?
So it's just foods that don't irritate your gut. They can slow down without having to just... What I was eating when I had colitis was cornflakes, bread, rice, nothing with health benefits at all. I mean,
nutritional value. Yeah. It's just easy to digest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. and wouldn't irritate my tummy as much. But, it kept going so long that it was like, I need nutrients, So it's FODMAP, FODMAP. And, I got a cookbook and I started eating it. And actually they said you need fiber, but a certain type of fiber. Because there's different, I can't remember.
No, what were you cooking with that diet?
This is a while ago. I can't even remember.
Really?
Yeah, it was some meats, and it wasn't fish though, because fish was very fatty. So it had to be, I think, like chicken.
Like lean stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chicken, turkey, and then they did have you eating some vegetables, but not in the cabbage family.
Yeah.
So I mean, there was vegetables, there was, and they still had you eating rice, things like that, but adding in some protein and some vegetables.
So that helped you through that
The colitis,
Okay.
yeah. And they did have me on just to try to zap it. They put me on a steroid, but it was low dose. I told them I'm not taking anything major, so it took me a while to get over the colitis, but yeah. And then the constipation, it's been
You're still on that journey, basically.
Well, I did find exactly what works for me, and I don't even know if a lot of people know about this, but there's something.
What?
Right behind. You see that bag with the green clip?
Do you want me to get it?
What's underneath it? I want to show everybody what exactly I take.
Oh, this.
Yeah,
honey?
it's not honey.
Yeah.
It's called Yacon syrup. It's organic. Can you see that?
This is not an ad.
No, it's not. I get it off Amazon.
So why?
This is like $10. This is a liquid form of inulin. And if anybody knows what inulin is, it's kind of a stimulator. A lot of chocolate will have inulin in it. A lot of diet foods will have inulin in it because it is sweet.
Yeah.
And it stimulates your bowels to...
Oh, okay. So it's like...
It's a lot for diabetics.
The back of it says, due to its high content of this very long word, which does not increase blood glucose, and it's considered a prebiotic.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it does stimulate your bowels.
Okay.
Yeah. And
we talk a lot about BMs with this because it's so important.
It is. And I had just gotten my cholesterol. I just told you this. I got my cholesterol checked and it was super high.
Like the thousands, right?
Yeah. And she said, I'm concerned that your constipation is not excreting naturally the cholesterol from your body. It can build up if you don't have good elimination. So, but I've been taking this for a while. This didn't work
right away. No,
it didn't work the best by itself.
Okay.
So I started taking with it something called Swiss Chris. It's like Swiss, S-I...
No, S-W-I-S.
Brain
fart,
yeah. Swiss Chris, K-R-I-S-S. I got that one.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's very cheap.
Yeah.
You can get it at most food stores. And
what is it though?
It's sienna.
What's that?
You don't know what sienna is? Okay.
No.
It's it also is a stimulant, laxative.
Is this like a
it
powder
can be
form?
It's a green, looks like a green herbal pill.
Okay, that's what
Yeah, and it has other herbs in it, but the main thing in it is the sienna leaf.
Okay.
However, they make these pills in extremely low doses. I've taken sienna before and had, like, in the middle of the night, it hit. I took it, in the afternoon, and all of a sudden,
potty?
no, I mean, I was cramping
Oh.
so bad. It was almost like labor pains. It was cramping so bad. I would hurt. I felt like I was going to pass out. I mean, it was ridiculous. I thought, I'm never taking sienna ever again in my life. But I did take 2 doses because I was so constipated at the time. So I kind of didn't want to take the Swiss Chris. And I tried a few other herbal things, didn't work, and so the ratings on it were very good.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, I'm just going to give it a shot.
This is the pill.
It's like $13, for the bottle, and yeah. and it's a little pill, little herbal pill, so it's all green and and I can take like a child's dose with this, and I will every day.
It's like the magic elixir for you.
It is. And then I have changed my diet into eating just more. I eat fish and eggs. I can't eat
the meats.
I can't eat the meats.
It's too hard on your gut.
Well, they can be very
so you're a pescatarian.
Slow they can slow your digestion down.
Okay.
And just and I get backed up from eating red meat, chicken, maybe a little bit, but chicken and turkey. I just try to keep it simple, just fish and eggs. Yeah. So lunchtime I'll be having my eggs.
I know, I mean
my fish.
Is this like something like it's like a honey almost? You could describe it.
It's almost a molasses honey.
Okay. You just like put a spoonful of it in your mouth?
Just taste it.
Oh.
A teaspoon.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That would be good in like a tea.
But if you already have diarrhea or you don't want to,
I already have a regular BM schedule.
Yeah, I don't need it. But a lot of people with diabetes use that to sweeten.
That's wild. That's really cool.
So it's good to use instead of honey, but there is a side effect of
just be careful
going to the restroom. Yeah, it's like. But if you look in a lot of foods, they have inulin in them.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at a sugar-free chocolate bar, it has inulin in it.
Ah.
They use it to sweeten.
Okay, which is
because it has a very low glycemic index.
Okay.
To it, yeah.
And it's low in calories.
Yeah, 7
calories for a teaspoon.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, the more you know.
Oh, wait a minute.
Do you want me to look at it?
It says 10.
10 calories.
The last, it went up.
Really?
The last bottle said 7.
Better check those ingredients.
I know, but maybe they just changed their formula. I don't know. So, there's a lot we didn't talk about just as far as cancer and stuff like that, but it's
What about it?
Well, I know, but how long can you go?
As long as I want. I do what I want here.
Do
this
you?
is mine.
My girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could show you mine, but
Yeah, Mom. I do gotta say this.
Why?
I get my physique, I guess, from.
Well, you get some of your muscle.
I know the Bundy side is very muscular.
Yeah.
But I remember you arm wrestling the boys when they were younger.
I used to arm wrestle guys in college. I'm like, come on, baby. I didn't always win, but sometimes with the little Cambodian guys, they didn't have a chance.
The little shrimps.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny.
Okay, now talk about the cancer.
You should show them a picture of this when I.
Every time I tell somebody that's not wearing sunscreen or something, I show them a picture of your face.
The one where
when you had the scar,
the surgery after all stitches. Okay. Well, I'd had a spot here on my face,
on your
cheek, yeah. For like 25 years.
Forever.
Yeah, and I'd get it burn off, the dermatologist would look at it.
It was like very light too.
It was light, but then it would get dark and then they'd burn it off and it'd get light again. And I'd had a lot of basal cell.
Little things you just get lasered off.
Yeah, and that were not very deep, and they would take them off and cut them off, whatever. But I did not have a clue. I went into the dermatologist after, just to get my normal. I think I was in there to get something else done. I can't remember what. Probably something like Botox or something. I don't know.
Full disclosure.
Yeah. And she said, "Oh, look at that spot on your face." This was a new dermatologist because I needed to switch from my other dermatologist because we had moved. And she said, "Gosh, we need to take a sample of that." And I'm like, "You don't need to take a sample of it. It's been there for like almost 30 years.
Plus, this is my face."
Yeah. It's been there so long. I know it's not anything. And but I had noticed that it had gotten a little darker.
Okay.
We'd gone to Florida.
Yeah.
We were on vacation in Florida, and I was wearing sunscreen and everything, but I thought maybe I got a little too much sun, made it a little bit darker, so
like a tan almost.
Yeah. No, it was a little bit darker than that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was in the middle, it was looking deep brown.
Oh.
But it wasn't black. Like, they tell you it's going to be black or something. So I didn't think anything of it because I'd been putting concealer over it for so long. And they called me the next day and they said it's melanoma, and we're going to have to. It hadn't gone very deep though,
as far as they could tell.
Yeah, they said it doesn't look like it's where they're going to take that much skin underneath it or tissue underneath it. She said it's very, very surfacey.
Okay.
But so I'm thinking, they're just going to scrape that. I had to go to a special surgeon, and he removed the spot, and I'm thinking they're scraping it.
Right. Like butter. Just get this
scrape
right
that, and I didn't look at it. They just put a big bandage on my face.
Were you under anesthesia when they did that?
Well, no, no.
Oh.
My cheek was completely numb, though. I mean, deep. Yeah.
Okay. Instead, they tore your face apart.
Yeah. So then after I did that, about a week later, I could go see the reconstruction surgeon. I thought, gosh, I need a reconstruction surgeon, or physical, or what do you call them, plastic surgeon. So I did, and literally I thought the scar was just going to be like, that big.
Yeah.
But when I came out of surgery,
an inch size, it looked like a bear had gotten a hold of your face.
The scar went from the bottom of this ear all the way up here, all the way across down
to your chin and
all
cheek,
the way down here
to your jaw.
Yeah. And my husband,
like, boy.
So basically, what they did is a big hole in my cheek, because they had to do the Mohs system, which is you keep taking tissue until you hit clean tissue.
Oh.
So there must have been a lot of surface tissue that they had to take, because the spot on my cheek that they took was quite large.
So it was a lot deeper.
Yeah, and it wasn't like where I could feel it on the inside of my mouth, but they had to take skin from my neck and wrap it up over my face.
And like half a facelift?
Kinda.
But
the wrong way.
The wrong way. Like a backwards facelift.
So the scar is like right there. Everybody can see it. And that was, I guess it didn't really bother me that much. I mean, I'm older, so it's not like, my face. There were times where I was like, oh gosh, I just don't feel pretty anymore. It was, kids would stare at me. And so you get this feeling of having, you just start relating to people who've had traumatic things happen to them, like they don't have a leg, they don't have an arm, their face has been distorted, and people kind of looking at you and stuff.
God, that is so loud, people. I think it's those motorcycles, and they have their music really loud.
Yeah, I keep thinking you were listening to that music. I'm like,
yeah, Mom.
Yeah,
The devil's
new life. Yeah. But anyway, it was a long process of healing from that.
And you got it redone a little bit. So
I've gotten 3 reconstruction surgeries after I had the first one, and then I had filler.
Music.
This isn't.
It's a good song.
Yeah, it is.
Genuine, I think. No, this is a different one.
Yeah.
You're telling this story.
Just need the light to change here.
I know. It's fine. Just keep talking over it.
But I had to. It's my choice, I guess. It was flapping over. The scar right here was so noticeable. This wasn't too bad.
The back part, yeah. But your cheek.
Yeah,
and
it was just really indented here, and it made this south of my face look like it was
drooping down.
Yeah. Because you had to look at me. I don't have to look at me, but everybody else does. So I got some filler put in right here, and I tried. Doggone it, you people! Drive away.
He's driving away.
I had. This is the. I don't don't think I told you about this, or maybe I did.
What?
I had something called a threading. You heard of threading?
Oh, is it the collagen little things?
Yeah, they had,
Collagen, right?
it's collagen, but they're strips of like suture strips
yeah.
with little things on them that
I've
little
seen
prongs
stuff
on
of
them, and then they go in through an entry point, and then they pull the skin with the suture, and then kind of pull it back.
So it's less invasive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But it has collagen on it.
Okay.
So after the threads are gone, you have collagen in there, and it's a little expensive, but I did it on this side, and it helped. It helped to make it look more like this side. But they had to redo this side right after this side because we'd pulled this up. So then they kind of
gotta look symmetrical.
Very, very small little lift just right here to, make it look symmetrical. And I had to ask for that. This is what I think is really strange.
What?
When a woman has a boob job,
Yeah.
men do everything to make sure that boob looks just like the other one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They'll pay for the whole thing. Reconstruction, the nipple,
symmetry,
tattooing.
yeah.
Yeah. We want it to look real good. But your face, no.
They just tore you up.
They won't pay for, they paid for the reconstruction.
Oh, for insurance.
Yeah, insurance. Yeah. Oh, they'll pay for the other thing, but,
That is odd.
It is odd. I even asked my plastic surgeon, and I said, so why do
why is it like this?
Yeah, why do we have to fight for, reconstruction? And they won't pay for fillers.
Yeah.
You just have to do that if you want to look normal. It seems kind of
What was
strange.
his answer?
He just laughed. He's really,
anyway.
he's a real nice guy. No, I've known him for a while.
Okay.
Yeah. I've gotten Sculptra in my face, which I like, for a long time, and he's done that. It's not a filler, it's just a collagen stimulator.
Okay.
And so I do that. That's my spa treatment. I don't do my nails, don't get pedicures, don't do massages. I'm not a girly girl, but I do get a little.
You're a girly girl.
Well, you know what I mean. Like, I
The
don't.
stereotypical girly girl.
Yeah, let's go do our nails.
Although you're in your sweatpants era.
I am. This is my old lady clothes.
That's okay. Wow.
Yeah. Hey, it's popular now.
It is actually.
Yeah. So I got my cute little cloud.
Little track suits.
Yeah.
Your cloud shoes.
And I've always been athletic, so
Yeah.
I love to be active.
Good.
Yeah.
Thanks for talking to me, Mommy.
Sure, sweetheart. My beautiful daughter. My beautiful daughter. Yes.
I do want to ask, off of everything that we talked about, the advice, what would you tell people when it comes to whether it's dealing with their mental health or dealing with doctors? What's the wisdom, I guess, you would impart?
Well, my first. This is me, because I could not live without having a connection with Jesus. I couldn't.
I feel like you would have been a horrible mother.
Well, I don't know.
Well,
if
okay,
horrible.
That's extreme. But you had, God in your life. So raising us, I feel like it would have been a much different experience.
It could have. I've known the Lord since maybe 5, 6, 7, and I just fell in love with him. He pursued me. I gave him my life, and because I was so introverted and I wasn't a partier, I didn't want to do that stuff. And I'm not saying other people can't. It's just I'm an introvert. I like to be home, and so I would read my Bible. I memorize scripture. It was just who I was, and I'm very thankful that he led me into a relationship with him at a very young age, because of all the problems that I was going to have. I would have been lost.
Yeah.
It would have been a heavy burden for me to carry by myself, and so you can be proactive with your health. Make sure we've got the internet now. I didn't have that.
Yeah.
computers were not as available in 1993, 2006 even. I didn't have.
And luckily this kind of stuff is a lot more well known and researched.
There's a lot more information on the internet now about studies that are released on stuff, and I read those. A lot of people have podcasts and things like that you can. And then, and just available supplements. Yeah. I mean, there's more supplements on the market now. You have to be careful. Make sure you read all the ingredients. No maltodextrin, no food coloring. They stick those things in there, and they're so hard on your gut and they're whatever. But so just be mindful of what you're putting in your body, and if you have any issues, find a doctor that you can relate with, and you could sit down and have a conversation with, besides your health, that they're relatable, because I found the ones that are just like, this is what you need to do. I don't work well with those type of people. So usually I back off, and that was what Ann Hoffer was. She was like, no, you are bipolar. I'm sitting here arguing with, anyway, I know me better than you know me. And I was at that point able to do that because I had gone through that experience before. But I would.
And standing, like I mentioned earlier, I guess in a way, standing up for yourself and just trusting yourself that that what somebody might be telling you isn't for you, and just learning about your body and paying attention to it and being self-aware. And because a lot of people just don't, they're just like, we'll go and do what the doctor says, or ignore a body signal like pain or a bad gut, irregular BMs, or irregular period even. People just ignore it. And
our bodies are so intricate. There's really, as much as people say we were from apes, I'm sorry, we're not from apes. There's we are fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God, and there's no end to medical science doesn't even know everything about the body. No, they just don't. And so when you're connected to the one who knows, I feel like I have guidance, even though sometimes it takes a bit, for me to go down the right thing. The Lord has always been faithful to lead me and guide me into that path. And so then I ended up having melanoma again.
On your leg?
On my leg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't put my...
I forgot to...
I have to put a compression sleeve on this leg. I've had 5 operations on my right leg. I had melanoma twice on this leg. The first one was just a mole, and the second one was more of a tumor. So I have to have PET scans a couple times a year, MRIs, ultrasounds, that kind of stuff. But that was in 2022.
Last year,
Yeah. And that's when I did immunotherapy and all that. But, just trusting the Lord through that, not...
Would you say, especially during the worst times, when you went through the worst of it, it's kind of a miracle that you're still alive?
Yeah. I do think so.
Sounds extreme, but
I
just kind of hearing it, or hearing the stuff and because if you had listened to the doctors and done everything, I honestly don't think you'd be here.
Right. There's probably a few times that I probably could have ended my life myself. Because when you don't sleep, seriously, when you don't sleep,
makes you manic
for weeks. I look back and I think, how, Lord, did you get me through that? Because, that's just very, that's what people used to torture people with,
lack of
sleep deprivation. And,
I cannot imagine.
So I'm very particular about my sleep.
I am too. That's why I'm grumpy if I'm woken up too early. It's not the same. But
try to keep my bedtime pretty consistent, and I take other things. I take magnesium.
Yeah. Me too.
Magnesium glycinate, and then I use melatonin because I found out,
What?
little point here, if you are on antidepressants, anti-anxiety medication like Lexapro or Zoloft or whatever, they can deplete your body of magnesium and melatonin.
Oh.
So, and vitamin B.
And people need to take magnesium regardless.
Right.
Yeah.
And vitamin B.
Yeah.
So the three things that I take, probably the most of, is magnesium, vitamin B12, and then melatonin.
That's a good thing to know. Like,
Because melatonin in itself is a super antioxidant.
yeah.
And it can help your body fight a lot of cancers, a lot of, things like that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why I take, some people take, during COVID, you will never know this, but their
Yeah.
first line of protocol was to give someone melatonin.
Yeah.
Because it is a super antioxidant and it would help the patient sleep. So
And it protected your brain. I remember when I got
yeah.
COVID, and then I'd finally taken the liquid melatonin, which is better.
Yeah.
It was literally night and day. I took it. The next day I woke up. It was perfect. I was like,
Yeah.
my brain was finally
Yeah.
clear of the fog. It was wild how
Yeah.
quick that worked.
So I take it every night. 'Cause
Yeah.
now I can't sleep without it, or you don't get as deep of a sleep. I'm looking
Yeah.
for deep sleep here,
Yeah.
And so melatonin is. Some people take like just 3 milligrams. At first, this is just a word of advice: do not take the tablet. I
No.
mean, David went out and got me melatonin because I needed it. Like,
Right,
I found out, I need melatonin. And the doctor actually prescribed it. Said, add a little bit of melatonin in there. And he got me a Walgreens brand. And
He means well.
he does,
David.
and I'm like, okay, let's try it. I didn't look at the ingredients, and popped one in my mouth, a couple in my mouth, and I laid down and I started falling asleep, and I started having very violent images that
You weren't dreaming.
it was kind of between sleep and
Okay, you were lucid.
Yeah, and it was just like I saw the face of this man, and then he shot himself in the head. I mean, I don't dream of stuff like that. That was
Yeah.
very violent, and some other violent. And I'm like,
That's wild.
what is in this? I mean, there's something I've never, it was like I said, between the time when you fall asleep and when you go into a deep sleep. So you're
Yeah.
kind of awake, but yet you're not awake. And so in the morning, I look at the ingredients. Formaldehyde was in that pill. I mean, and some other things I don't remember, but so my husband, the loving man that he is, found me a liquid melatonin, Solray or Solgar, I can't remember, and I won't take a pill. I mean, I'm sure there's good pills out there, but I like the liquid. You can, sometimes I take a little bit more than 10 milligrams. Sometimes I take 10, but I take a lot more than most people, just because my body is depleted in it and I need it.
And you don't produce it yourself. Your body doesn't. Yours.
Oh, no.
specifically.
Well, it does, but because I'm on the medications I'm on, it's depleted.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's certain foods that can help produce, like cherries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah. Cherries, cherry juice, meat, obviously, things like that. And then because I'm on a kind of a vegan diet, I'm not eating as much.
Meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at now.
I'm glad you're here with me.
I know.
God
Tennessee.
said, "Not yet, Sally. Your daughter needs you still."
I know. And it's good, It's good. And the Lord said, in this world you can have trials and tribulations, but take heart, I have overcome the world. And since he overcame, that makes me an overcomer. And
Amen.
yeah. KateLynn,
What?
you're funny.
What?
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you, Mommy. I love you.
I love you.
Thanks for talking.
Yeah, I hope it helps someone.
That's the goal. But anyway,
All right.
say bye to the people.
Toodaloo. Yeah.
Say bye.
Oh,
Okay.
no
wait.
nails. Yeah.
That's okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the FFP Alignment Podcast. Please support us by downloading, rating, and recommending us to your friends and family. Be sure to check us out on Instagram at the FitFemme Project. That's FITFEMME Project. And for those of you looking to find their essential balance of lifestyle and fitness, book a free consult by going to thefitfemmeproject.com. That's FITFEMME Project.com and click Apply Now. Until next time, this is the FitFemme Project Alignment Podcast.